Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We are a vibrant, inclusive, and spiritual community that seeks to live intentionally, love unconditionally, and see God in all people and in all faiths. We believe the work we do in prayer and in the community creates a world that works for all cultures, races, orientations, and faiths. For over 60 years, we have practiced thinking globally and acting locally to help awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Annually, hundreds of people actively participate in our services, classes, events, and in our Spanish-speaking ministry. And we are training the next generation of spiritual leadership in our ministerial school. In the last few years, because of apparent divisions politically and socially, and because of threats to basic human rights, we have magnified our application of Science of Mind principles with engagement and compassionate action in the greater Napa Valley community. Our members have participated in women's marches, pride events, and we have hosted speakers on racial issues. We have empowered and mentored diverse leaders in our community and given scholarships to diverse ministerial students. We have donated over 4,000 pounds of food to our local food bank. Our spiritual director, Reverend Jay Lang, has facilitated an interfaith leadership group to hold public prayer vigils and 9/11 commemorations in participation with Jews, Muslims, and Christians. We have fostered the creation of a beloved community in the larger Napa Valley area by honoring community heroes at events and tithing to and partnering with a dozen different nonprofits that share our vision. Together, we've created a Martin Luther King Day of Service where over 1,200 participated in community service annually. The leadership of our parent organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, headquartered in Golden, Colorado, recognized our community for all of the outstanding, compassionate work we've been doing over the last few years with the 2022 Meritorious Community Award. As we move forward to do this work of the heart, to awaken the world to its spiritual magnificence, will you join us as we continue to ascend to new heights and create a world that works for everyone?
Good morning, everybody. So good to see everybody this morning. So much love I always feel in the room when I'm here, that we're gathered together. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and this community is part of the MLK celebration that's valley-wide. And I know the dream that Martin Luther King had was for a beloved community, a community that is be-loving. And we are that community and so many other communities we just celebrate today. So welcome to all of you today, here in person and online. We appreciate you being a part of this community. And we like to start each service with some music. So here's Astra Fox with some music.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to sing, I don't know that I've done this here yet, but this is one of the first musical mantras I ever wrote, and it's was inspired by an Abraham Hicks quote. So I hope you'll sing along with me once you get the melody. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out. Everything is working out. Everything is working out for me. This is the second part. Life will orchestrate a great unfolding, always in our favor, always growing. The greatness and the good forever flowing. I claim for my highest good. Everything is for my highest good. Everything is for my highest good. Everything is for my highest. Everything is for my highest. Everything is for my highest good. Life will orchestrate a great unfolding. Yes, always in my favor, always growing. The greatness and the good forever flowing. I claim that everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out, oh, everything keeps working out, 'cause everything is working out for me. Everything is for my highest good. Everything is working out for me.
Thank you, Astra. So good to, we've been open back in person services for over a year, but it just seems like things are even unfolding even more. We have our children's program going again, which I'm so excited about, and we have children here in our midst. So it's good to see a vibrant community in so many ways, and so good to see people who haven't been here in a while here. So it's such a blessing that is. We like to begin each service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on the screen and read with me, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And so it is. I also wanted to give a special welcome to those who are joining us online. We have a growing number of people who are joining us. We got a card from Linda that's in Fort Bragg that was appreciating our services. So I know we're expanding our streaming. And so I also appreciate all of you that are joining us online. And let us know, where you're from, name and where you're from. We'd love to greet you and acknowledge you. So especially if it happens to be your first time, we like to know that. And there'll be acknowledgement of anybody here who's in person for the first time later in the service as well. So welcome to everybody. I do like to let you know a few announcements. This is a big weekend for our community and all communities and all people here in the Napa Valley, because this is our MLK weekend. And today is it's part of our vision, but so many other people's vision to live out loud, to live our principles out loud. It doesn't mean the volume of our voices, but it means the way that we're being and doing in the world. So happy to be part of this MLK celebration that's both today at 4 p.m. and tomorrow for the day of service. And here's a little video. I'm Jay Lang, and I want to invite you to the MLK Celebration of Action and Compassion on January 15th and 16th. It starts on Sunday the 15th with a commemoration at 4 p.m. at Congregation Beth Shalom. And then on Monday is our community service day. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. You can register for projects all over this county. So go to Facebook at MLK Monday to find out more information. We hope to see you there. I'm at Congregation Beth Shalom. If you don't know where that is, that's up on Elm Street here in downtown. And get there a little early because they have a small parking lot. You'll probably need to park on the street to join, but there's several speakers, the Napa High School choir's there, and it'll be an important event to be a part of the community in so many ways, the broader community, to participate in that. I'm the chair this year. Well, I'm not the chair every year, but I wanted to bring it back because it's such an important celebration that we've been virtual for the past few years. So now we're back to being in person. And then tomorrow on Monday is the community service projects that are all over the Valley. You can register those online at tinyurl.com, Napa MLK Volunteer, or go to our website or the email. If you're on our email list, I sent it out this morning with those links to volunteer. And then here at the center here in our courtyard and in the sanctuary, we're going to have what's called the base camp. And this is primarily for youth and families to come and enjoy many different activities. The Napa Can Do is having people make grocery bags out of t-shirts. There are rock painting and cards to make for different people and different projects. and different things to do, but they're all fun activities. And also, if you just want to know other activities that are going on at the same time, even if you don't have kids, or to bring your inner kid up here, check it out. And also, we can use your support both early before 9 o'clock, starting around 7:30 to come put up tents and tables, prepare for the day, to help during the event from 9 to noon, to help just support tables. Laura Keller is doing cards love cards that are for kindness, and she would love your support over there at her table, or other tables might need your help. And then also to clean up after 12 o'clock when things wrap up. And then additionally, Laura and I are doing a workshop at 1 o'clock. You don't need to register ahead of time. Also, you don't need to register ahead of time for the base camp activities either. So right here in the sanctuary, 1 to 3, we're doing a workshop called the Revolutionary Love Project. And the idea is that we learn how to love those who are outside of our close circle, others, even people we might call people are in opposition to us. And it's based on Valerie Carr's book called See No Stranger. And I love her line about people we don't know. And because she wants to be open to people, her line says, you are a part of me that I don't know yet. You are a part of me that I don't know yet. So a way of being open. So we're going to talk about that, and a way to further this in our community, creating a beloved community, creating revolutionary love. So please join us at 1 o'clock for that as well. And then other events coming up. Annual community meeting on the 29th. That'll happen right after our service. And then a new member orientation. If you're not a member yet and you want to be, this is a good chance for you. You just come to the class and you could decide whether you want to be a member or not, what it means. But this is just kind of an orientation for it. That'll be right after the service too. And also in February, there's new classes. And we're talking about a new early service. And when I begin talking about it, people are really thinking about very different kinds of services. So I thought it'd be best to do a poll of the people who are really might attend something at 9 or 9:30. And so there's the email I sent out, and I'll put it on our website too, a poll you can take if you're really interested in coming to an early service. Before the pandemic, we had an early service where probably 12 to 20 people would show up at 9 o'clock for a regular service, but we're talking about an alternative service, something different than what we offer at 10:30. So please fill out that poll if you're interested. And then, I see it. And then also something important for many of the women I know, it is Sister Spirit. That's an annual retreat in March, at the end of March. My fellow minister, Reverend Abigail Shire, is the facilitator of it and has been for, decade and a half at least. And she's up in Seattle now, so the retreat moved up to the Washington area. But the truth is, flights up there are easy. If you've ever flown up there, they're hour-and-a-half flights and very reasonable cost. So to think about traveling for Sister Spirit, I think is not out of the question. And what I know about that is that it's a place of spiritually fun, dynamic, and transformational retreat. 18 or older, plenty of connection, fun, laughter, and exploration for women and those who express as women. And what's important about it is it's a bond and support that I think women find that in some ways you only find with other women. And I know as a man, I find support with other men that's unique also, so I can understand that. So consider that. There's information at sisterspiritretreat.org. Michelle is part of the planning team, so you can talk to her today after the service if you have any questions about it, or email her or find information on our website. I'll post that on our website as well. But sisterspiritretreat.org is the information. I also just wanted to mention that as nice as this rain has been that we've enjoyed, There is a side of it that people have been affected by flooding. We had a congregant who a tree fell in her yard. She was not hurt, but her house was hurt. And she's going to have to be out of her house for 6 months. So not only she, but all people were affected by these floods and water damage and things like that are in our prayers. And this particular congregant is going to have to be, as I mentioned, out of her house for 6 months. She has insurance, but she's looking for a place to stay, a small studio. If you happen to know of one, could you let me know about it? Like I said, she's willing to pay. That's insurance is paying, so it's not a free thing. So just let me know, and I can pass that on to her. But as I said, we're continuing to hold everybody who's affected by these floods in prayer and any other challenges they're in right now. And please know if you have any prayer requests, feel free to fill out prayer request or stay after the service for practitioners who would be glad to pray with you. So with that in mind, we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
So I'd like to invite you to sing along if you'd like, or just close your eyes and listen. At the center of my being, there is love. At the center of my being, there is love. That love is perfect, that love is in me. At the center of my being, there is love. At the center of my being, there is peace. At the center of my being, there is peace. That peace is perfect, that peace is in me. At the center of my being, there is peace. At the center of my being, there is love. At the center of my being, there is God.
So if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze and just settle in. Just become aware of your breath. Feel the presence of your body. And remember, each time you take a breath, each time you inspire, you're being given a gift of life. And every time you exhale, you're giving a gift of life. The plants use your carbon dioxide. They photosynthesize in this endless cycle of kinship and love. So on this day, after these drenching rains, we give thanks as the aquifers and ground table and reservoirs and lakes fill back with water, life-giving water. We just give thanks for all these blessings. We give thanks for being here today on this beautiful weekend of celebrating our beloved community. We give thanks for the words spoken, the inspiration, the music. We just know we're held in grace. And so contemplating this, feeling this in the stillness of your body, in the silence, will take a moment. And so just giving thanks for being in this grace on this path of love. We just let this be, and so it is. So I'm really honored to be here today because it's the MLK weekend, and there's all these wonderful events that Jay talked about. And just to be in that legacy of Martin Luther King of creating a beloved community and staying on the path of love and nonviolence and peace and compassion. And sometimes I feel, I don't know if you do, but I feel a little discouraged or maybe worried or sometimes angry, sort of feeling like we're always near the edge of despair. But I know when I get in that mindset that I have to remind myself I'm just participating in helping create that idea of the other, of someone separate from me. And it's hard because it's a centuries old pattern, right, of being socialized, indoctrinated to think in hierarchies of inferior and superior and us and them. So to stay on a path of love, I use a spiritual practice, but also there's this serendipitous gift that happens for me every so often, and it's a divine intervention that comes in the form of books. And sometimes someone gives me a book or tells me about a book, or I'm in the bookstore and it sort of leaps off the shelf at me, or I'm online. Maybe it's an algorithm, but a book appears that's really important and special for me. So I just read 2 books recently that were really incredible. One was given to me by my sweetheart for my grandkids to read, and we're reading it together. But one night I just picked it up and read it, and it's called Kinship with All Life by J. Allen Boone. And it was written in 1954. It's this little book, and it's about his relationship with a German Shepherd film star dog. I guess it was a big thing in the 50s. There were movies about this dog. And how he develops a relationship with this dog, and he realizes this dog has like superior intelligence. And so they develop a relationship where they actually have this nonverbal communication, like this incredible way they communicate with each other, and the dog sort of becomes his teacher. And he says, I realized that I had to stop thinking I was a superior human being of superior intelligence. That's just an illusion. And that we're creating these hierarchies all the time, with other people, with animals, with the environment, that we think we're superior and we're not. So he said this, it was so amazing. All of us, everything is an expression of mind of the universe, of divine intelligence, if we're just still and listen. And that good is latent in every living thing and simply needs to be called into active expression with gracious application of respect, sympathetic understanding, gentleness, and love. And then he said, all of creation is a comprehensive kinship in which all things are important and needed in a divine plan and purpose in rhythm with creation. And I thought, it was the 1950s. This guy must have known Ernest Holmes. I don't know if he did. And then the other remarkable book, of course, Jay mentioned, which is by Valerie Kerr. And I saw her TED Talk, which was so moving. And then I went and ordered the book on Amazon and devoured it. And this woman, it's really a book for our time because she's giving us a compass, a path to move forward and reimagine the world through the labor of love. And she says something really important. She says, wonder is where love begins. Our failure to wonder and be curious about others is the beginning of violence. When we no longer wonder and see others as part of ourselves, when we lose empathy and we dismantle our instinct for empathy, then we can do anything to the other or allow things to be done to the other. So she asks us to do this labor of love to reconcile and heal. And so on this Martin Luther King weekend, I just think that that's the right path. That's the path of love, and that's how we sustain his legacy. So thank you. So it is.
This seems like a fitting song to see things differently. those days watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, all that time never even knowing just how blind I've been. Now I'm here blinking in the starlight. Now I'm here, suddenly I see, standing here, it's so clear, I'm where I'm meant to be. And at last I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted, and at last I see the light, and it's like the sky is new, and it's warm and real and bright, and the world has somehow shifted. All at once, everything looks different now that I see truth. All those days chasing down a daydream, all those years living in a blur, all that time never truly seeing things the way they were. God is here, shining in the raindrops. God is here, suddenly I know. If God is here, it's crystal clear, I'm where I'm meant to go. And at last I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted, and at last I see the light, and it's like the sky is new, and it's warm and real and bright, and the world has somehow shifted. All at once, everything looks different now that I see truth. All at once, everything looks different now that I see truth.
That was beautiful. I remember that from the candlelight service. So is that from the movie Tangled? Is that song? Yeah. So anybody seen the movie Tangled? There we go. All right. Good to see some adults with their hands raised too out there. So today we're talking at this theme this month has been about root and reboot. And it's an important topic every January. We maybe call it something different, but it's a return to kind of talk about our basic principles, our basic ideas that we have, and the universality, knowing that we are all one, which fits right into this MLK celebration of action and compassion, and that spirit is alive, or spirit is as we allow it to come through us, as we are being with it. It's our intuition, our wisdom, our little joys in our lives, that we can be aware of the spirit that's all around us, but we can also be aware of the spirit within us. As our founder Ernest Holmes said, that the innermost God and the all-encompassing God are the same God that we can experience. So I just love always to step into this theme every year. And it's the reason why these lights are behind us. So if you weren't here last week, I described a myth from the Hindu myth called the Indra's net, where it's almost like a spider web where all the threads that are connected, where they intersect, is a jewel or a light, and each one of those lights is a person or human life, and that we're all connected in this invisible web. So this is representing the oneness we all are. Now, those who are online, there's mixed reviews about how this looks online. So that's okay. It's not going to be a permanent installation. We are seeking to put up a new mural here with the Science of Mind symbol, the V symbol that is part of our fundamental that we are allowing a greater truth to come through us into manifestation into our lives. So that'll be up here, but there may be a transition time during that. But there's a couple people interested in doing it. So if you have ideas, continue to send me an email or let me know that we're wanting to make a permanent installation up here. But this month the different topics that we do, last week, I was talking about it is, meaning spirit is. We know spirit is because I am. And I am is an ancient way of describing spirit. People who thought that really no word can describe the immensity and the awe that we feel when we feel spirit. So they would say it is the I am that as I am. Moses, when the bush was burning, that's what spirit answered. Its name was it, I am. Is that I am. And so we can know the I am is, and that unlike the philosophers who said, I think, therefore I am, as metaphysicians, we say, I am is, therefore I am. And this week is about I am as we are it, as we are being it. Next week is I am as we allow it. And finally, the last week in January, I'm kind of going to do a summary about rethinking positive thinking, because sometimes we make some assumptions about that. So the topic is going to be rethinking it. But today it's about this idea about as we are being. So spirit is, and we create as we are being. So spirit is through us, and we create as we are being. So what I know is that the world needs us to be love. So go be love, or go be whatever that is that you seek to create in your life, whether it's peace or joy or truth or greater realizations, greater awareness, mindfulness. Go be that. So be that which is within us to create that which is all around us. Now, probably when you were growing up, you were told you can be anything you want to be. Remember that phrase? You can be anything you want to be. Any of our youth here heard that phrase quite often? Yeah. And what's interesting about that is we found as we grew up, we weren't necessarily our aspirations of being a professional athlete or a ballerina or a music star or these, even though some of us are a music star, right? But these aspirations we have, and yet those were aspirations of what we would be doing, not what we were being. And we can still be whatever we want to be. To know that truth within us. So maybe we're not, the aspiring everything we wanted to be in our dreams of our youth, but we can still be an expression of spirit and be creative and powerful and open and make a difference in the world in the way we do things. But we begin with the way we are being. The way we are. My favorite story about being is from Greg Braden, the spiritual teacher Greg Braden. And it was told a few months ago. So you remember Peggy Usack, I think, told it one of her spiritual reflections. But there was another part to it that often people don't tell or forget to tell about it. And that's, so the first part of it is that Greg Braden went up with a Native American man, a Navajo, New Mexico. It was a time of drought. We can relate to that. And they went up on a high mesa, and looked out over this valley in New Mexico. And they went up there to bring rain, to pray for rain. And so Greg and this man, they had parked their car and walked up to this mesa. They're on top of this mesa, and the Navajo man said, I'll be back in a minute. And he went out to the edge and was there for a moment. And he came back to Greg and he said, it's done. And Greg goes, I don't understand. I thought we were going to do some kind of ceremony or, praying for rain. He goes, no, I went out there and I was the rain. I was being rain. And within hours, rain started. And as they walked down and back to their cars, the rain continued for several days until it was flooding in places. And Greg went back to the Navajo man and said, I was just wondering about, it's still raining. He goes, and the Navajo man goes, yeah, we haven't figured out that part yet. And guess what? We haven't figured out that part either. So we have been praying. We have been being and praying for rain along with so many other people. And guess what? We haven't figured out the part of turning it off yet. Even though I understand there's sun coming this week, I will never complain about the rain. Never, ever, ever. And we also have compassion for those people that have been affected by heavy amounts of rain, particularly south and east of here. So blessings to them in that, in their way that. I also think about being as just the way we are, that we experience things, we attempt to create from this place of being. And it's almost like cooking. So when you cook, you even if you have a recipe, you have something in your mind and experience, right? And as you cook, you taste, you smell, you want to experience. It's not how it looks, even though that's a factor, or what it sounds like as it's bubbling. It's the experience that you're seeking. You're also thinking about who you're cooking for, what experience you want to give the people you're cooking for. So you try it a little bit. It needs a little more spice, a little more something, a little bit of this. Maybe when I serve it, I'm going to add some garnish or something to create an experience for people. And so it is with our lives. We have within us this inner experience. That first we start with the beingness, and we seek to have this experience in the outer life, and it may not be exactly what we want. It may need a little more something here and there, a little more spice, a little more oomph, a little more openness to it. Or we notice for ourselves somewhere we're holding back, we're reserving, or a forgiveness that we haven't been able to allow. And so when that happens, when we notice that the world is a mirror, so it reflects back to us, so we can change the recipe a little bit, change what we're adding, add a little more, come back to the being, come back to the creation part, and then let's serve it again. Now, I'm a good cook, but I've had recipes that I've done that have been a disaster. One time I was making a soup and the recipe called for a teaspoon of cloves. And for some reason, my mind saw a cup. Needless to say, that soup was inedible and went down the garbage disposal. But that's, sometimes life is just too much of something or too little of something. And we can adjust the things. Think of it when we were children and we first learned to walk, we fell a lot, right? Life is, we fall. That's okay. We get up and we go back to our beingness. We don't try and change the outer world, change other people, sometimes we need to change situations, like we might change a job or we might change where we live, but it starts with the beingness that we start with. And what I also know, what's interesting about all this is that, let's say we're seeking to be healthier. We can't be fully healthy, optimal health, without knowing health within us. We might have a cold or something more severe, be cured, the symptoms are gone, but we're not going to feel totally, optimally healthy without knowing our vibrancy, our vitality that's within us. And we can even feel that when we have a chronic condition. We can feel this health within us, and it may or may not manifest in a cure. That's frustrating, I know, sometimes, because we can feel so healthy. But if I had to choose one, I would choose the healthiness I feel within. People who are wealthy won't feel abundant until they feel this abundance within themselves. People in relationships or friendships will not feel connected unless they feel connected within themselves first, when they love themselves. So this inner radiance, this inner beingness is the most important thing that we can do in changing, in being who we are. Now, all this is inspired by the phrase that was inspired by, not actually spoken that or find no record of it, but inspired by Gandhi, be the change we want to see in the world. A great quote, but nowhere can people find that he actually said it. So, but he said things that were similar to it. He said this: we but mirror the world. All the tendency presence in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As each human changes their own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards them. And then he went on to say this: this is the divine mystery supreme, a wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. So in other words, our happiness is not dependent on other people. It's what we are within ourselves that we can find. And we know the world mirrors us. And when we shift, the world shifts also. It's a direct correlation to it. I've known hundreds of stories of people that worked on a forgiveness of somebody or forgiveness of themselves. Without talking to anybody else in their world about that forgiveness, the world shifted. Their view of the world, the people's response to them, particularly the person who they did the forgiveness work on, even if the person didn't know it, things shifted. And that's at the extreme case. But the little things of just being love, being this compassion that are true. Gandhi, a story of him as a spiritual teacher, he was visited by many people. And one time a mother came to him and said, can you talk to my son about eating less sweets? He'll listen to you. He doesn't listen to me. And Gandhi said, come back in 2 weeks. And she was kind of perturbed that he's, well, why not just, say something now? But she goes, okay. So she came back in 2 weeks, had to wait in line again. We all love that, right? But wait in line again in like an hour. And she finally gets to see Gandhi. And Gandhi saw them and remembered and spoke to the young boy about eating less sweets. And in fact, he did later on. But she asked, she was trying to be compassionate, but she goes, how come you couldn't do that 2 weeks ago? He said, because I was still eating too many sweets. So we need to have that spiritual integrity, that spiritual truth of who we are. And often whom we judge, there's a phrase in our metaphysical teachings is when you point a finger at someone, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So when you're judging somebody, there's something inside of you that is similar to that. It may not be extreme. There might be an extreme of that. But just go back to Valerie Carr's words about, you are a part of me I don't know yet. Because we're all connected. We are all connected. So here we have MLK weekend, and Gandhi and King, I don't know if you know this, but they will always be paired together. Dr. King used Gandhi's ideas of nonviolence in his protest here in the United States. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. started his work in 1955, and the boycotts the bus boycotts and Montgomery bus boycotts were during this time. And he said that he has a quote here somewhere that Gandhi's work was the guiding light of our technique of nonviolent social change. Now, he and Gandhi, what's interesting, never met, because Gandhi had already passed on but King did go to India to study the legacy of Gandhi's nonviolence work. And that was in 1959, and he met a Swami and went to Hindu and Buddhist temples. He slept in Gandhi's house, and he just recognized this path that Gandhi had done of social protest against the British occupation as being the same path that he knew as a Christian path, the pathway of Jesus. And what we know, the teachings of Jesus align with who we are. Now, not all the teachings about Jesus, but all the teachings of Jesus do align with the work that we do here. And I also appreciate Dr. King because he was a student. He was willing to listen. Not only listen to other people and other pathways like Gandhi, but also listen to his own inner wisdom. Be a pathway of spirit and listen. I love it. If you've never seen the movie Selma, this is a great month to see the movie Selma. But I just so was moved when he walked across the bridge in Selma. And previously they had tried to do it and were beaten, including John Lewis and other people and King that tried to march across Selma. They were beaten by the law enforcement there. So at this time, the law enforcement moved away and gave them free berth to cross the bridge. And Martin Luther King led people halfway across the bridge. And then he just stopped and knelt down and turned around and said, "It is not time yet." And everybody goes, "What do you mean? What do you mean? It's time." It's not time yet. And he knew there was a natural process of unfolding. And so this wisdom he had that so many people revere was sourced in the divine. We all have access to that wisdom. All of us do. I also appreciate that for the first time I read something new when reading about him this week. And when he was in India, he met with some African human rights protesters, students primarily. And he talked to them about the difference between passive, here somewhere, passive resistance and nonviolent resistance. And it sounds the same to me, but as he described it, he said passive resistance relies on guilt and coercion. Think about passive aggressiveness, right? So there's some guilt there. He goes, nonviolent resistance is about being clear about what you're seeking, but allowing people to change their heart, because only changes in the heart can make a difference in the way life is. We remember that his belief of the beloved community was one of integration, not just acceptance, but reconciliation and redemption, where it's more than just acceptance, it's an embracing of each other and our individual differences. And it's natural, it's not unusual to see diverse people in different ways. So he believed in this change of heart, and he said that he believed in unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. And that's why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. So if we are continual in this nonviolence in this way and open up to the truth we are, then we know that life can be based in what we are. The other way Gandhi and King are paired up is the Season for Nonviolence. It starts on January 30th, as well as Cesar Chavez is along in this grouping. because they were all believed in the pathway of nonviolence as a pathway of change. And all three of them have done dramatic changes in the way, in Chavez's case, the way farm workers are treated, but in all people. And it's sad, but appropriate in some ways, that the reason why January 30th it starts, that was the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. And April 4th is the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And that's just a reminder why it's important to seek nonviolence in ourselves and in our way and what we're doing. So what I know is that we create, spirit is, and we create as we are being, whatever that is that we are. And that Charles Fillmore, who, if you don't know who he is, he started Unity Church, which is our brothers and sisters in New Thought. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, and Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, his wife, studied under the same teacher, and we have a long tradition of teaching in this. Matter of fact, Ernest Holmes didn't even want to start a church. He just wanted to have classes and teaching, and this is the way that we can dive deeper into this wisdom that we can be open to, this intuitive self, and learn how to be more than focus on doing. And so Charles Fillmore says that the law of spirit, that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be loving and kind. If we have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves first. It's that simple. We be this, and then we create it. And we know that outer change can be challenging. We know that it's not as easy as going, oh, just be love, and then you're going to experience love all the time. Well, no, sometimes you make a messy stew that's inedible, and you have to throw it out and start over. Sometimes it just needs some fine tuning what you're cooking. Or sometimes you're cooking for yourself and go, well, if I cook that for someone else, I'm going to need to make something a little different, right? But we know that when the going gets tough, go back to the being. So when you're not finding exactly what you want, just go back to the being. Go back to what the truth is, and becoming what we want to see in the world. Ernest Holmes says war will cease not when God decides this for us. In other words, not a God out there, but when enough people know it is no longer desirable and steadfastly maintain their position. From communion with spirit, humans will come to perceive the deeper reality, the broader sharing in human experience. So when we know this truth, this is what creates the truth. So go be love, be peace, be joy, be the truth, because the world needs us. They need people grounded in the principle that spirit is the source. And when we are being the spirit, when we're allowing spirit, we make a difference in the world. This is the truth that I know today. Let us go to prayer. Just breathe that in. Breathe the truth of who you are within yourself. Spirit itself, the powerful beingness that you are. And what I know right now is that is all there is God. And the oneness that we all are. So I know in this moment, collectively as a community and individually, that we are able to allow ourselves to be the truth within us, to be the clarity, to be the peace and the joy and the love, and that we experience it around us. For it's all God around us too. That we are able just to be love. And we experience an abundance of love around us. That we are joy, we are peace, and we experience abundance of all of this godly, goodly, wonderful love, peace, joy. And for this, we are so grateful. And so it is.
I am my own medicine. I am healing from within. I am my own medicine here and now. I trust my own wisdom. I trust the answers from within. I trust my own wisdom here and now. I'm remembering my promises to myself, and I welcome them home. I'm surrendering this shadow of my lost self. I am my own guru. I am guided to all truth. I am my own guru here and now. I am my own medicine. I am guided from within. I am my own medicine here and now. Here and now.
So fitting. Thank you. Thank you. Now's the time in our service when we invite you to be part of the law of circulation and to support our vision and mission in so many ways that you can. So listed on your screen are the different ways you can give. I know many of you give online or in different ways, and we honor that and appreciate that. We also, obviously, you can give here on Sundays during the sharing of abundance. If I could ask the ushers to come forward. We appreciate all your contributions as well as those people online. We appreciate that. You'll see ways that you can give online that support the beloved community that we are creating here. So if you could take your that which you offer, whether it's something you've pre-given or one of love and or something you're giving today, and bring it to your heart and repeat with me this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate and so it is.
All right. So this is my latest musical mantra. I hope you'll get the hang of it and sing along. I am trusting the universe. 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 'Cause there is plenty to go around. There is plenty for us to share. There is always more than enough. Trusting in the universe's care. All right, you got this. I am trusting the universe. 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 'Cause there is plenty to go around. There is plenty for us to share. 'Cause there is always more than enough. Trusting in the universe's care. Trusting in the universe's care.
Love it. Great new song. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we know that which you've given today blesses and multiplies your life in so many ways. We are grateful for all that you've given today. And so it is. A couple things before we get into the affirmation. I just wanted to say, if anybody can stay around after the service, after the practitioners have prayed, and stack up chairs, that would help us prepare for tomorrow. So thank you for that. If you, this is time I like to greet people here who are in the first time, either online or in person. We have a small gift for you if you're willing to raise your hand and be acknowledged. Is anybody here for the first time? Yay! And also, Judy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate you being in our community, and make sure that you get a chance to introduce yourself. We'll have coffee and snacks outside. Always usually a plethora of good snacks. I think we have the snacks in the kitchen because we're concerned about rain, but it looks like, I don't know if it's raining out there now, but it was supposed to clear away. We'll see for a couple hours, just a brief break perhaps. So we have an affirmation for our new people and all people here and those people online. We raise our hands and say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. And then also our community affirmation we do together. So let's stand up for our community, then we'll have our final song. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I'm protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give her my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now.
As we go forth, we know the truth of who we are because of what we are being. And from there, we create that which it is. And so it is. Have a great Sunday. Please join us today at 4 o'clock, Congregation Beth Shalom, and tomorrow for community service projects. Blessings, everybody.